Good evening, everyone, and welcome to round three, the final round of the Octane Online Racing Simrigs Trio Series. We've got the GT2 cars out on track already here at the beautiful Silverstone circuit. My name is Alexis Bowen, and joining me tonight in the comms box is Blake Griffiths. How are you, Blake?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you doing, Lexi?
Doing fantastic. It is great to be back in the comms box for what is the final round of the Trio Series. And as I said, Silverstone, magnificent circuit. We've got multi-class racing, should be an absolute treat.
Took the words right out of my mouth. I was about to say it should be a treat. Really looking forward to it. Silverstone's such a fun circuit, and I think the trio aspect is going to really throw a spanner in the works. I'm really excited to see what happens.
Most definitely. We've got 20 teams, 3 classes. That's 3 drivers per team, hence the name Trio Series, of course. But Silverstone always shapes up for some very exciting racing. And with the multi-class nature of this series, it should be a little bit chaotic as well for the 60 minutes we'll have coming up. But GT2 cars are out on track at the moment. We got Fadli Rahmat here in the Bin Chicken Racing GT2 Maserati. That team is currently sitting in 4th in the overall standings out of the 20 teams we have here. Fadli Rahmat, always a very fast operator.
Yeah, Fadley's been on an absolute tear, I believe, winning the last race in the GT2 class, and I guess outright. And in race 1, I believe finished near top of the standings, but was taken out by a bit of a wayward other class car. But Fadley's always been on the pace, like right at the top there, so I'm expecting big things from Rahmat tonight again. Should be a really big battle again with Rose. They've been locked horns throughout the whole series, so...
Yeah, certainly 2 very fast, very capable drivers. I mean, there's a lot of really good names out there as we watch now Mia here going through the through Brooklands now in the KTM, if you don't mind, for Pit Viper Alpha. That is a beautiful looking livery on that, if you don't mind. Gets a very loose coming out of Luffield. Huge slide out of Luffield. Wonder if this is a hot lap that we have here. Yes, it is. It's a 159 flat for Mia Rose to start off.
Fantastic stuff. So just looking, it's a couple of seconds off the regular GT3 pace. I'm sure we'll see probably a couple more seconds shaved off. You know, there was a bit of a slide there. That's obviously something to improve on. Do you think the GT2 cars can replicate the GT3 times on this track, or...?
It is a very good question, I will say. I'm actually not too familiar with the overall pace of the GT2s compared to the GT3s. Pretty much my only experience in Assetto Corsa Competizione is in the GT3 cars, but looking at how she's attacking some of these corners in the GT2, it definitely looks like it has a fair amount of aerodynamics, but is quite tricky to get out. Very wriggly. It's currently 2/10 up, coming through about the halfway point. Now down the Hamilton Straight, of course, where the F1 cars normally start and finish. But we have to go another halfway around the track until we get to the old start-finish straight, where the GT3s go.
Yeah, so apologies for putting you on the spot. From my understanding, the GT2s have a lot more power at their disposal, but the aero is not quite as significant as a GT3. So kind of on a track like this, there's a fair bit of straight, so you're going to be making use of that power, but there is a lot of slow corners that you might be struggling a little bit with. So in my professional opinion, I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see. But I do think there's probably a couple more seconds to be gained for Mia at least. I do know that I don't think any of the cars in this class have tyre warmers, so that's part of the battle, getting out there with only 10 minutes of qualifying. So the time should get better. Track is optimum though, so let's see.
Yeah, so it's a 58.9 now for Mia Rose, getting word from Graham Hill in chat. There's not enough aero to compete with the GT3s here, so could become very interesting when you look further through. But currently Mia Rose is 4/10 clear of Fudley with Bob now also in the Maserati. Seems a popular choice there is in P3, about 9/10 off, as that is a big error from Mia going through Maggots and Beckett's and then into Chapel Curve. So we'll need to go again, but we'll have a little bit of time yet. So we jump on now with Fudley coming through the loop and on to the Wellington Straight. See how far Fudley is up. Seems like it has been pretty reasonable for him. And yes, look at that, 6/10 up. This would put him right onto the GT2 pole position if he manages to finish up the lap cleanly. Gets very wide though. Going through Brooklands, that might hurt him a little bit. What's it like through Luffield? Compromises on the entry. Does he get anything on the exit? Maybe a little bit, but I don't think it's going to quite be enough to get past Mia Rose's time. Is it? No, not quite. 200ths of a second, if you don't mind. That is very, very tight. And Fudley will know he's got time to gain.
He's Louise, just that one corner. It's that one little bit. There's one more bite of the cherry for him though. Try to see what he can do, but yeah, less than a blink's worth between them. As I said, they've been locked horns the whole series, so I'm excited to see what they come up with.
Yeah, indeed, as we watch Spinazzi is a long way up, a second up, going halfway through the track. We've got, he needs another 5/10 if he wants to get up to the time that Mia Rose has set, but so far it's looking very, very good for the Maserati, but gets very, very loose going through Abbey and into Farm Curve. What's it like as he runs through Village End into the loop? Very, very tricky to get right. Got to get a nice late apex and does so. What's the speed like on the exit? It's not too bad, but he overall has lost about 1/10 of a second. And I think Mia Rose has had enough. She's pulled up into the pit lane, so I think that's the best it's going to get for her. But Spinazzi now will come through the final few corners. Can he find anything? Going through Luffield, takes a nice early entry. Will try and get the double apex if possible. Maximize that exit speed, but it hasn't happened. He's gotten quite loose on the exit, so it's only going to be about 7.5/10 improvement. But where will that put him? It puts him up to P3. Wow, look at the difference between Rose, Ruckmat, and the rest of the field.
As I was saying just before the show started, it's been Rose and Ruckmat, the spectacle, the musical almost, and it's proving to be yet again. But it's a pretty great time from Spinazzi. Did just notice there is an ibis on the side of that car, and he's not part of Bin Chicken Racing, so very popular animal this series. Just have to say.
It doesn't look like Ruckmat was able to improve either. He does look like he's going to try and carry on with it. It's probably about 5/1000ths really off of his previous best, so, or 500ths I should say. But we want to find a little bit more. There's a few cars still out there. The GT2s will be pretty much done very, very soon. We'll see the the GT4s roll out. Spinazzi again, 2/10 up. Does he get a better run through Abbey this time? It looks like it. Through Farm Curve, definitely gained 1/10 of a second there. He'd have to find a lot of time if he wants to move up to where Ruckmat and Rose is. And right now he's about 4.5/10 up, but he loses a fair bit going through the loop. So may just compromise the line a little bit, maybe not quite as committed, or just not quite getting the exit he wanted. But it would still improve his hold on P3 as he does get a little bit off the road there. It hasn't hurt the time too much, but going through Brooklyn's definitely a little bit conservative on entry, but finds a lot on the exit. Now through Luffield, gets a reasonable run, but can't find too much time there. So it will be a 2/10 improvement, which will improve his hold on P3, and pretty much all the drivers behind him have finished up. So that should be P3 in class for Spinazzi in the 111.
Nicely done. It makes you a bit nervous when you touch the grass like that. I wouldn't be surprised if we could have seen a little bit more from Spinazzi, but overall a good effort, bringing it a bit closer to the top two.
Yeah,
now, GT4.
Indeed, these cars are certainly something. They're Almost
One of the
the
cars of all time.
yeah, certainly one of the cars of all time. We've got Lucas Keys here in the Aston Martin. I mean, really, GT4s are probably the most equivocal to their actual stock varieties, but there are still a few changes you can see with the front end on that Aston Martin. So it looks a little bit lower to the ground than you'd expect a regular Aston Martin to be, but still gets nice and close as Lucas Keys runs out very, very wide to start off his lap here. We'll run through towards the line, and what will the line be like through Cops as he runs up here? Of course, a very tricky corner to get right at any car, but the GT4s especially, you need to make sure you've got as much of that cornering speed as possible.
Yeah, always a tricky one. I've personally struggled with that one. It feels like you've either not enough beans through there or way too much and you've ruined your lap. Lucas Keys showing us how it's done though. Might be a little bit tricky. This is probably the first hot lap we're seeing. Tyres are probably still going to be cold. As I said, I don't believe these cars have tyre warmers. They might not be all the way up to temperature yet.
He runs up through towards Stowe and now up to the Vale chicane. It hasn't looked too bad for him so far. Definitely looks like he's fighting it a little bit. Hopefully it's not too much of a skill issue for the skill issue racing and driver. But right now it hasn't looked too bad.
Ew, that was bad.
Thank you. There's more where that came from.
I look forward to it. Alright, coming down Hamilton through Abbey. Biting a little bit of that grass. Biting it a little bit. Very brave. Across those, for lack of a better term, bollards. Through Village. Little wide, little correction. Getting it slowed down. Not sure if it's just the perspective or my unfamiliarity with GT4. It felt a little slow out of there though.
There's some interesting driving going on here. He's using the momentum to get the car turned in as quickly as possible, which is something you never really see in any of the other classes, but I guess in the GT4s, that's one of the few ways you can actually get really good speed through these corners, which, as I said, so crucial in these cars, is Lucas Keys will come up to the line, and it will be, or we'll have a look when he comes up to the line. It does take a little bit in these cars. 10 seconds off the pace, but it's a 2:09.1. We'll see what it compares to the other drivers. Johnston, he's about 1.4 seconds off of what Keys did. Then we have Zeri, who is 5/10 off in the Porsche. Then we see Bushell there in the Alpine, Darth in the McLaren, Powell there in the Chevy. So definitely some good variety in the GT4 field.
Yeah, a lot better variety than the TCX class, I must say. Yeah, sorry, that one was pretty bad as well. I'll cop that.
We'll watch on with Jerry. Is a few different times getting on the board. Quite a few drivers who have yet to really get anything indicative on the board. I mean, you've got Jensen down there who's about 12 seconds off of what Keys has managed. So still time to find for plenty of drivers out there. But the good news for them is that there is the time to do so.
Yeah, I'd like to see time from Herbert as well. Pit Viper Alpha really needs everyone to contribute if they want to jump up for the last race, jump up in the standings, sorry.
Yeah, they're currently in 6th in the standings on 490 points total. Leading at the moment is PG Toe Jam Racing with 668 points, so still plenty of points on offer. So no team is actually out of this yet, but you'd dare say there's a few favourites in the field.
Yeah, mathematically it's not impossible, but I think a few things would have to happen for some of the lower ranked teams right now. I do think Pit Viper Alpha in 6, there's an outside shot. Mia Rose is participating on that team, so that's, you know, very heavy hitter for them. But yeah, we shall see how it goes. But yeah, hearing Herbert, let's get a time on the board, mate.
we'll have to see what happens with Herbert. But watching on with Archer gets a lot of that inside curb there as Holmes moves up into P18 ahead there of Keys. And Herbert has got a time on the board now into P23. So has time for one or two more, but that will pretty much be it for Herbert in the 45.
That's pretty good effort. That's what, P6 in class?
Yeah, by the looks of things, yeah, we'll see what Archer can do in the Chevy here. We want to get a nice clean run out of Luffield and onto the straight, and he seems to get a little bit loose on the exit, and it'll take a bit of time for him to get up to the line, but he's currently, well, about 5 seconds off the class lead, and he now only about 3.5 seconds off. We'll keep it on what the other drivers are doing. Looks like there's been a few improvements further up. I think Keys did find a little bit of a improvement, but pretty much everyone else has as well. It's just having a look. So so it seems like gaps in the GT4 field are relatively large, but there is quite a range of different drivers who are participating in this class, of course, and the GT4s are not really driven all that frequently either, must be said.
Yeah, I have to say I'm not going to be too critical of them. I've never stepped foot in one myself. It looks like a bit of a handful, especially something as big and unwieldy as the Camaro. But yeah, we've seen there's a variety of skill levels in this series. It is meant to be for fun as well as the competitive aspect. So we don't want to take away from anyone.
Yeah, so
just
at the moment,
getting a look at those M2s that'll be coming out soon. Someone's already lining up, very excited, ready to go.
Yeah, it looks like Josh Holmes is currently on top of the GT4 class, just 500ths clear of Lucas Keys. So that's very, very tight there. We'll see the M2s roll out of the pit lane very, very soon in the TCX class, as you can see there. So yes, it is currently Holmes just clear of Keys, and a big gap down to Jerry in the Porsche 718 Cayman. Darth about 2.5 tenths back from that, and then it's nice and tight between Darth, Johnson and Herbert there for about, what, P4 to P6 in class, I'm pretty sure that would be.
Yeah, it looked like it might have been all the way up to 8. There's if some people can clock in something nice right at the end here, we might see a little bit of movement there. People should be just finishing their laps in a moment. Looks like they're all heading down Hamilton about now, or still heading down Hangar as well.
Yeah.
So just having a little bit of camera issues, guys. Just bear with us for a moment.
Yeah, we'll be sorting these out in due course, but in the meantime, we do get to see the M2s roll out the pit lane, and there's some very, very nice liveries throughout this M2 field in the TCX class.
Have you had any standouts in terms of liveries for yourself so far, Alexis?
I'm still very unfamiliar with a lot of the liveries. I have noted that there have been a few that have just been very, very basic colors, but I do think the Mia Rose GT2 is probably one of the best liveries I've actually seen in this game, and there have been some very, very, very good ones.
Ooh, big call, but I do very much like that. I like a digital camo, and very fond of pink myself, so yeah, big fan. I also like there's a couple of Powerpuff Girl liveries. I think that's
yes, I did notice one in the M2 field. I think that's just ahead of the Madden car you're seeing on track. So yeah, definitely some well-inspired liveries. That's a bit of a dive.
What are we doing? Why did we do that? It's like still an outlap. All turned around.
I mean, I'll be honest. I don't think that was. particularly desired a desired outcome, nor was it probably deliberate.
Yeah, maybe something went wrong. Give them the benefit of
Yeah,
the doubt.
probably just finding the GT3 breaking point and just sticking with it.
Yeah, it's like, oopsie, I'm actually just in an M2. This is very late.
Yeah. The M2 is sort of like I guess you'd call it like the bougie version of like the Hyundai Excel.
What do you mean by that? What does that mean?
The Hyundai Excel Racing Series. Come on.
Oh, jeez. Okay, it's a bit of a deep cut for me personally, but yeah, I guess you could say it's a little bit like that.
I don't know. It just seems to give off that aura for some reason. It's interesting as there seems to be a little bit wide there from Madden through the final corner, just trying to deal with the understeer that these M2s bring to the table. I mean, yeah, they're definitely not the fastest things. That can be said.
I reckon it'd probably be head and shoulders above a Hyundai XL, though, has to be said.
Yeah, most likely, I'd say the Hyundai XLs would probably struggle to get through turn one at Cops at all.
It might be on two wheels, or on none.
Yeah, on its roof, probably.
Yeah. Alright, getting a good look at Madden. Number 7, coming down Hanger Straight, coming to Stowe. Let's see, adjusting that braking, it's not a GT3 car. Ooh, looks, it's a little wide, looking okay though. Down Vale, into the Vale chicane. This is where we saw someone else behind Madden get a bit crossed up.
Looks like we've got the some of the camera issues resolved, so we'll jump on now with Zavaka in the number 99 M2. Blue Flag Express, that's wonderful, wonderful.
I just really like that team name. Bit of grass there, coming through Abbey, I think it was. Makes me a little bit nervous.
Yeah, I wouldn't think that the tyres that the M2s are using would particularly have a lot of grip or traction held within them, but regardless, seems Zavaka's managed to get through okay.
Yeah, Zavaka's a pretty competent driver. I trust them. Keep it all on the black stuff after a trip to the green stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
Ooh, big cut there. Ooh, everyone's a bit out of sorts down through Luffield.
Suboptimal line, to say the least.
One of the lines of all time.
Yes, indeed. Well, here is Zavaka coming to the line. Probably got compromised through the final corner there. Moves up into P38. It's a few seconds off of the pace from the front-running M2s at the moment. But
yeah, I think Zavaka just kind of bailed on that lap a little bit. Like, it's a bit of a banker, but taking it very wide, I think, to just maximize that top speed for the next lap. They got time.
Yeah, there's still 4 minutes and 40 seconds left in this session, so still time for all the drivers out there at the moment to put something on the board for what will be the final Trio Series race. We've got 60 minutes coming up for you, and I'm sure we'll see a lot of blue flag chaos.
They've gotten better as the series has gone on. The first race was definitely a learning experience, I think I would call it. Second race was much better. I think there was still a little bit of chaos going on, but I think people were picking their spots a little bit better in terms of the faster classes passing the slower classes, and the slower classes making themselves a bit more predictable on the track. So I'm expecting good things this race in terms of blue flags.
Yeah, you'd hope so. I mean, there's plenty of space around Silverstone. It's one of the widest tracks in this game, so you would hope there's less issues with the blue flags, but you never know. Things can always happen, but we'll watch on with Randos. Currently sitting 8th in class, and is about 7/10 up. Doesn't get the greatest of runs out of the loop, so that will compromise him all the way down the Wellington Straight and down towards Brooklands. But he's still up by half a second, which isn't too bad. That would move him up ahead of Gamble for the moment, but he'd want to find a bit more.
Devils. Someone's taking the scenic route down through Luffield. Seems to be a bit of a tricky one. Has something gone wrong with this Pit Viper livery? It looks a bit, yeah.
It looks like one of the liveries of all time.
I think we need to break out the thesaurus, maybe. But yeah, yes. I think the camo is not quite working on that one. It is interesting though. Quite. Bit of an art car, maybe.
Yeah, it looks very abstract, to say the least. But Rando did improve, but is now dropping down the order down to 10th in class now. We'll want to find more on what will be the second last lap he does in this session. Yes, John coming in with the JP is 18 seconds off the pace. Wonderful relationship between the two Sinikai.
Sinikai?
Yes, the
plural of Sonic, as I'm hearing. That's interesting.
They just keep multiplying. Yeah, that they really do just keep multiplying, keep appearing out of thin air almost.
I heard they actually like batch make them to race. That's like all they know. They come out of a tube and they're like, I need gloves and a helmet. Put me in a car.
Yeah, talk about being taught from the womb. But oh dear, Rando, I was wondering if he'd just gone a bit deep there into Village and maybe go a little bit too hard. So that will do it for Phil Rando in this session. He's going to be 10th in class at best for this race here at Silverstone. Just having some more little camera issues, but we are now onto the very, very washed, not as washed now. It's only 16.5 seconds off the pace. So how do you assess that? Would you still say Mr. Sneakers is still washed?
I don't know if I'm qualified to comment on that. I think I might make some enemies, but I mean, second in class. Sonicus has been battling with Sasha Death the whole series as well. It has been a bit of like a almost like dance partners, I'd say, where like we have like two people like really battling at the top of each class, and I believe Sasha Death and Sonicus have been in TCX the whole time as well. Very brave of them. Or maybe they really like it. Maybe they like the pain, but. Yeah, it's been very interesting to watch.
I'm just noticing that those wheels have been those wheel rims have been painted white, and normally I wouldn't be a huge fan of it, but I think for a car that is as interesting as the M2 is, that is a really poor line from Peach there, and that will pretty much do it. For a car that looks as awful to drive as anything in the world, the white wheels probably match. And to be fair, it matches the livery pretty well as well, I'd say. But the brown rims. Oh, that is.
Shouldn't they be black if it had like donuts, like donut holes or something, or white to match the car to imply the donut hole?
Yeah, I'm not too sure on that one. I'm not too sure, but either way, that's Babby in the 666. Definitely no evil coming from this one. It's in the bin chicken livery. Coming through into Village, does have a little bit of traffic to contend with ahead. Goes very, very deep, and has to really apply the anchors, and that's killed the line going through the loop, unfortunately. So that's all the time that he's gained, just gone like that.
Oh.
And he's done, yeah, he's pulled it up. He realized he's not getting anything out of that one, so P7 at best in class for Babby. As there is I did not think of this. Right. So there is a Bab and there is a Bab. Okay, fair enough.
Oh, I thought you were just referring to a nickname.
So,
I believe Bab goes by Babby as well. I think we had this problem last time.
That is exactly what I was referring to. I did not think of that, but either way, Babby by name is P3 and Babby by nickname is P7 in class, if I'm not mistaken. Or P8 in class, whatever it is. But either way, we have our grid for the 60 minutes here at Silverstone. It is nice and overcast, and it is in the GT2 class. Rose in the beautiful KTM from Rahmat, Spinaze, Taufik, and Bob now. Lot of variety in that GT2 field, just absolutely incredible variety between the KTMs and the Maseratis. There are a few Audis and Mercs further down, but yeah, it's mostly KTMs and Maseratis. In the GT4 class, your pole sitter there is Holmes from Keys, Sherry, Darth, and Johnson there. Then when we move further down to the... Ah, beautiful, beautiful. It does not look like we are going to see what the TCs are at, but we'll be able to see anyways. Yeah, there we go. So we've got Death there on pole position in the TCX from JP, then Babby by name Squires, Thurcolini there in 5th in class. So yeah. Michael Bab. I'll just stick to Bab for the driver there in P40 overall and P7 in class in the 666. As just saying hello to Bakito, who's in the chat. Nice to see you lingering around. Very, very quick driver, to say the least, in the Asia Pacific region, really just generally in ACC. But we've got plenty of fast drivers out here as well. We've got a nice size grid out there, of course, bolstered by the fact that we have 3 different classes out there. And yeah, we'll have to see what happens. We got 50 seconds in till we get underway for this 60-minute race.
So we're looking at 1 pit stop today for tyres, I believe. Weather is variable, so we could be seeing some rain. It might force some people's hands, obviously
It's England.
in for it's coming in for rain tyres. Yes, it does have to be said. Silverstone is in England, so it probably will rain, and that's probably why it looks overcast. But yeah, should be interesting stuff.
I think the fact it's not raining is more disappointing than anything.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk pre-race about the M2 in the rain. People are saying it's actually not too bad. Not too bad. I wouldn't personally want to be piloting that myself, but we'll have to see. We'll see what happens. We've got 1 hour of racing in England. You know, probably see some rain. And off we go for a bit of a formation lap. Take us through it, Alexis.
Yep, so it will be a little bit of a slow formation lap, but Mia Rose leading the way as we run up towards the infamous Maggots, Beckett's, and then Chapel Curve. No one seems to care about Chapel Curve. They all just say Maggots and Beckett's, and no one gives Chapel any thought. So shout out to Chapel in this instance, but running through now into what is middle of the Maggots and Beckett's complex. And they'll be going a lot faster in the race. That is to be said. But right now it seems all the drivers are underway. There is no collisions on the formation lap here as we just take a look at the drivers who are on pole in each class. Josh Holmes for PG Toe Jam Racing. That is certainly one of the... I'm not going to finish that sentence. That is certainly an interesting name. There you go. Crack the thesaurus out for that one.
I think we all know what you wanted to say, Alexis. But it has
Force
to
of
be
habit,
said,
force of habit.
PG Totem probably a favourite to take it home. In the lead right now by a decent margin, and a couple of
58
very,
points,
very,
yeah.
very, very fast drivers in that team.
Oh no, Babby by name is in the pits, has forgotten to press start, and gonna be starting right at the back. Gonna be starting in pit lane, so P3 in class that was from the TCX drivers, and now just, yeah, gone.
That's really, really unfortunate. I'm not sure what's going on there. I'm gonna have to hope for a George Russell-esque showing tonight.
Yes, indeed, of course, referring to Russell starting from pit lane the US Grand Prix over the weekend. Certainly certainly nothing to speak of that happened in that race in terms of penalties, but yes, we'll carry on.
No, that was just a good race. Like, I think George was really good. Nothing else interesting happened. Oh, Leclerc won. You know, that was pretty good. Getting back into double file, we're going pretty fast, it has to be said. I feel like leaving those M2s behind a little bit. I believe we should be starting with a bit of a gap between the classes again, though. So hopefully no repeats of the horrors of race 1 at Watkins. Oh, you weren't there for that, Alexis.
No, I've been busy with university, but just quickly before we get underway with this one, would just like to shout out Philippa Paquita, who will be representing Australia in the motorsport games that are coming up. So good luck to her. She should do quite well, you'd say, and we're all very, very proud. But we'll get underway with this one very, very soon. We've got Rose, Rakhmat, Spinaze, Taufik, and Bob now there, the top 5 from the GT2s. We're also keeping an eye on Holmes, Keys, Sherry, Johnson, and Darth in the GT4s. Will be coming up to the line, and we will be getting underway very, very soon. Race start is initialized, and the green flag is waving, and we are underway here in Silverstone. It's a good start there from Mia Rose up the inside, and seems to have gotten the jump on Rakhmat. Meanwhile, in the GT4s, there's going to be a little bit of a congestion here with the GT2s, but I'm sure they'll be able to break away very quick. The BMWs have managed to get away pretty cleanly as well. Doesn't look like there's been any calamity yet, but we are yet to gotten through. Maggots Beckett's is at the back. I say that. Seems there's been a few TCX cars that have gone around. In camera 1, that is Sasha Deft racing there through Maggots and Beckett's, and looks like there's been a few moves made there. But meanwhile, camera 2, that is Rakhmat around the outside of Mia Rose, going in to Stowe Corner, and now up to the Vale chicane. Looks like Rakhmat's just easing ahead, but can Rose do anything in the braking zone? We'll have to go to the outside. That turns into the inside now through towards Club Corner, but Rakhmat's gotten a great run, and Rakhmat takes the lead in GT2s, but it gets very, very close now between Mia Rose and Fadli Rakhmat, but Rakhmat does stay ahead and moves up in the P1 overall and in the GT2 class. That is a great, great move from Rakhmat. As further back, there's still more carnage, and that's a few GT2s that have gone around. You can see there in camera 1. So there's also a few GT4s that have gone around and moved further down in the BMWs. As Mia Rose back up the inside of Fudley Rakhmat into the loop. It's all happening here at Silverstone, and now Rakhmat's going to have a great run as they run down the Wellington Straight towards Brooklands. Who's going to be leading at the end of this first lap? We really don't know. KTM just has enough to hold ahead of the Maserati for now, so it should be Mia Rose that will lead the field across the line from Rakhmat, then Taufik, Spinaze, and Nipris has managed to get a good start up into P5 now in the KTM.
Yeah, crazy stuff there. Absolutely wonderful wheel-to-wheel racing down through the club corner. Rakhmat really placing the car quite well, but Mia Rose able to get it back through in the village and loop sections of the track. I was wondering if Rakhmat would catch back up on the Wellington Straight. All I'm hearing from these KTM drivers is the woeful top speeds, especially in comparison to the Maserati. But and that's kind of been the battle for these two the whole time. Is Rose will duck away a little bit in the corners, and then Rakhmat right on the back of her as soon as they get to a straight. So just as we're seeing right now, pulls up alongside Looking to go the outside on Stowe. Will he stay around the outside? Bringing it back in. Had a look. Not really going to happen though.
But on the exit of Stowe and into the Vale chicane, it would have to go around the outside. You're going to be hard-ass to get done there, Fadley. And yeah, that was about what I was expecting from Mia Rose. Nice and robust, but gets very, very loose on the exit. And now that will give Fadley another opportunity, potentially going down towards Village. Although he's going to go to the outside into Abbey. You'll have to back out of it a little bit. That will compromise the line for Mia, but it's also compromised the line a little bit for Fadley. And now up towards Village. Is there going to be a move? Not close enough on this occasion. And he does have to keep one eye behind him because Taufik is looking fairly strong there in P3 in the what looks to be the 7-Eleven car there.
Yeah, Mia making Rakhmat choose Abby to go around the outside, positioning the car on the inside nicely. Rakhmat maybe not quite at the right speed, had to back out just a little bit. It's a really great move from Mia. Coming around Luffield, long, slow corner. Feels like it takes forever, but you got to be patient. Make sure you're sticking it, sticking the throttle down just the right time so you're not scrubbing those tires. And we're going to come across the line. Mia Rose still in first after 2 laps. Rakhmat right behind, as we've seen the whole time.
Oh, that's a little bit wide there at the entry of Cop's corner there for Rose's. Further back there is quite a calamity. There's a few cars that have got the 215 and the 14. Those are both BMWs, if I'm not mistaken. So a few TCX cars getting involved in some incidents. As now back on to the hangar straight, and this is where Fudley will have the advantage over the KTM driven by Mia Rose. But so far, Rose is actually handling the pressure quite well and is not letting Rakhmat get close enough to look for a move.
Now, seeing a couple of instances around the back. We haven't quite gotten to them, but there's a few cars sort of out of synchronization, you'd say. I think there's a GT2 stuck in the middle of the GT4 pack.
Yes,
a couple of GT4s. A couple of GT4s in the TCX pack. We're very, very close. Rakhmat making Rose work for it.
Most definitely, but right now Rose is doing all that she needs to. There's still 54 minutes. As I say that, she goes very wide, and that's going to open the door for Fudley to try and get the exit out of the loop, and it looks like he does. So there's going to be potentially a little bit of something here as the 56 in the... that's the GT4 that's going around in the TCX field. That's a little bit confusing, but anyways, Rakhmat around the outside into Brooklands. You're going to be hard-ass to get a move done there, but he manages to hold it around the outside very, very well, and that turns to the inside into Luffield. And if you don't mind, Fudley, Rakhmat up in the P1. Rose sticks the nose back up the inside to try and get the run out of the corner and spook Fudley a little bit, which sort of works, but can't do it and won't be able to get any leeway now going down this little straight towards Cop. So Fudley back into P1, and Rose just has to check up a little bit. It's a little bit more cornering speed for the KTM as we now have a bit of a replay further down the field. This is Leon in the 215 TCX car with the 18 just behind. Oh dear, and that is a missed braking point if I've ever seen one. Yeah,
just a little ugly. Kind of, I don't know, forgot we were in a M2 tonight, I think, maybe?
Perhaps, yes, as it looks like Brimblecombe's managed to work his way through the GT4 field and is now getting back into sync, you'd say, with the rest of the GT2s now there, and what will end up being P17 just ahead of current GT4 class leader Lucas Keys. Looks like Keys got a good jump on Holmes. That KTM looks so loose. Oh my lord.
Yeah, we came in a little bit sideways into the Vale chicane and then again through the first corner of Club. Gonna have to get that in check. That's where we were saying the KTM should be at an advantage, and right now it's looking really squirrely.
Yeah, it did look like during qualifying that there was no traction control for Miras. I'm not sure what the traction control situation in these cars is anyways, but either way, oh my, that is a lot of drifting.
That is, yeah, London drifting. I believe these cars do have traction control. I know that Fadley Rackmat is very partial to no TC though. I'm not sure about me, and I'm not sure about this race specifically.
Yeah, you would think in the race there would be some level of TC, but based on the way that Mia is driving at the moment, I don't think that is quite the case. Meanwhile, Taufik there in P3 in the PG Tour Jam Racing 711 car seems to be doing all right for the moment, doing what he needs to do. I mean, any sort of points will be good for their hopes in this championship. Josh Holmes is P2 in class for PG Tour Jam Racing, so very much in the position to take this championship here in the Trio Series is that team, but they've got to keep an eye on what Milk Racing Team, Kovacs Racing Blue, and Bin Chicken Racing do behind them. They're their closest rivals in the championship right now.
Yeah, I think they'd have to be happy with two P2s right now. I'm sure Sonicus is probably right at the top of TCX as well, if we come to that. But has Holmes dropped a position? Was Holmes in first earlier?
Holmes started on pole, but Keys has managed to get through. It looks like Keys has the pace advantage at the moment, as Holmes has dropped back by 3.3 seconds. So that's about a second loss over the past few laps. Yeah,
it's a bigger gap than I'm used to seeing.
Hello, we've got a little bit of a fight going on here. That's Death trying to get back ahead of Jean-Pierre Sneakers, and Sneakers has actually managed to get through. So Sneakers up into P1 in the TCX class, and that means it's P1, P2, P3 in the classes for the PG Tour Jam Racing team. Hello, that's a bit wide.
Yeah, they'd have to be very, very happy with that. It would certainly be enough to lock this down, I would say. We'll see.
Yeah,
but
still,
yeah, again,
one way to go.
Senikis, I'm now learning, after one race at the booth already. My apologies, Senikis. But Senikis and Sasha Death have been locking horns the whole time as well. As I said, it's been like a tale of two drivers in every class pretty much. But I think this race we're seeing a closer formation, like a closer pack in GT2 at the very least, which is nice to see. But I do think as we keep going on, it might start to fall back a bit. Fadley Rackmat and Mia Rose are just in a class of their own. But these two, so close, making it look easy in these M2s as well.
Yeah, they're about 1.8 seconds clear of Aiden Squires there in P3 in class, the number 9 car there. Squires has shown a lot of improvement throughout the sprint series over the past few seasons, and it's been great to see from him, really, and doing some reasonable things at the moment in the TCX class, currently seeing P3 behind, well, really the dominant force in this class. Oh, the dominant forces in this class, I should say.
Are they attached by a trailer hook? They're so close, and they're like right on the same line. Just fantastic racing.
And I guess you'd think there'd be multiple ways of attacking these corners in the BMWs, given how slow they're really going in comparison to the likes of the GT4s and especially the GT2s, which, by the way, those GT2s, oh dear, that's a bit wide from Sasha. That's probably not the line. Speaking of the GT2s, they're already getting on the back of the TCX cars, and I think that was the number 11 that went around there.
Yeah, someone's had a bit of a moment there, unfortunately, but yeah, Sasha Death going a little bit deep into Brooklyn's. We were just sort of saying, I was going to say almost convergent evolution, you're taking the same line because it's the fastest line. These drivers will find that, sniff it out, and then Sasha went quite a bit deep there.
It looks like Mia Rose has managed to take back the lead of this race ahead of Fadley Rackmat, so not sure when that move took place, but either way it shows that those two are very, very tightly matched, and given the difference in the characteristics of the cars, with the KTM being good in the corners and the Maserati good on the straights, as we see Rackmat trying to go around the outside cops, you're not going to get anything done there unless you want to be spun into the wall. But either way, he gets a brilliant exit, and now he's going to try and get through in Maggots and Beckett's. He's going to swoop around the outside, and he's going to get it done on Mia Rose. Mia, she's going to try and get back through with the superior cornering speed of that KTM, but can't do anything. And now, here's the GT4s getting... Oh, no, not the GT4, sorry, the TCX cars, my bad. getting a little bit involved there. Nothing much Mia could have done there. But then again, the TCX couldn't have done anything there either.
Yeah, it's just a bit how it goes. Oh,
dear, that's a bit too much grass.
I think it's almost not a literal brake check, but I think Fadley slowed down a little bit for that TCX, and Mia maybe couldn't see that car. Had to take a bit of an invasive maneuver, but yeah, I mean, this is all part of it. It's part of the multi-class racing. It adds a really interesting dynamic, and yeah, it's gonna happen. It's, you know, I had a little bit wide. My hat's off to these drivers in the GT2 cars, because it would have to be quite frustrating at times, but it's literally how the cookie crumbles, if you will.
Yeah, you really got to have your wits about you, and now this is going to be an opportunity potentially. Oh dear, that gets very scary, but what a move, if you don't mind, from Mia. Now, Fadley returns serve, dives up the inside into the loop, and he's going to get the run down the Wellington Straight and maintain this lead as Mia has to go wide. You don't want to be doing that too often. Manages to get back cleanly, but that should mean that Fadley will hold on to this lead. And there is going to be some ferocious fighting while they're getting through this slower traffic.
Yeah, it was a really opportunistic move just through Village there. It almost paid off for Mia, but Rackmat held his nerve and got a really good run out of Aintree. So the battle continues. I think we've still got actually quite a few M2s to go. We're kind of coming up to...
Oh my lord, that is a... Oh.
That's a move. That's a move.
It just gets a little tight.
Just a little bit.
Honestly, I've got a feel for these little TCX drivers, because they're just going to see these massive GT2s just go every which way around them, and they don't really know where they're going to go, as that's Taufik off the road there a little bit. So just not quite getting around that TCX as quickly as he would have liked, and he's dropped a long way back from where Rose and Rackman is. That he's now 2.2 seconds off.
Yeah, as I said, I think that's that natural progression. Taufik, very, very talented driver. Nothing to take away from them, but Mia Rose and Fadley Rackmat. Oh!
Yeah, got a little bit tight there. Mia got very, very loose going into the Vale chicane, and then had to just kind of work her way around that TCX car a little bit awkwardly. Now, she's going to get stuck behind this TCX car going through Abby, so that's given Rackmat a lot of breathing room.
Oh, yeah, it's the roll of the dice. Sometimes getting around the TCX, no problem, and it's trouble for your opponent, and then sometimes for you to get really held up. I think she had to scrub off a lot of speed through Abby, not to just bowl through, but it's, yeah, the shake of the dice, isn't it?
You've really got to have your attention as focused as possible when you're driving these GT2s. As meanwhile in the background, looks like Nepris is trying to move on Spinaze into these Brooklyns, but can't do it on this occasion. So Spinaze does hold on, but that just shows that this traffic is having an effect.
Yeah, actually seeing a bit of a concertina happening. There's only about 1 second between each car, 1 to 5, 1 to 6 even. Whereas, you know, as we were just saying, Rose was pulling away. Rose and Rackmat were pulling away from Taufik.
Yeah, I think the little hold up that Rose had to do sort of brought Taufik a little bit closer to her. But generally, yeah, no, it's a little bit of a place. But I think they've managed to get past all the TCX traffic for the time being. Next, they've got the GT4s to contend with, and Rackmat has a 2.5 second lead.
I was about to say, not so fast. We've got another class of cars to get through, but it should be relatively smooth sailing for a little bit. And Spinaze just squeezing around that TCX, just wow. Oh, this is actually our leaders for the TCX class, Sneakers and Sasha Death, so keep it all neat and tidy, please.
That's a little bit wide for Sneakers. That's going to give Sasha potentially a little bit of an opportunity here, with now Bub now crawling onto the back of them. Bub now gets through before Abby, so that shouldn't affect them too much. And, well, there was a little bit of breathing room. Now for Rackmat, already on the back of a GT4.
I hope you enjoyed it while it lasted, Fadley. Bit deep for Sneakers there.
There's not going to be a lot of clean traffic for the GT2s in this race, and pretty much all the other drivers are going to be have to really pay attention to what's going on around them. I mean, the GT4s are also starting to catch up into some of the other traffic, as that's the 666 that has gone around. So that is Bab.
Bab by name.
Yes. So that is unfortunate there for Michael Babb, probably just getting a little bit spooked potentially from one of the GT2s. Not too sure what's happened there, but either way, he's unfortunately gold. Gee, okay, all right. Yep. That's all I have to say on that. Just yep.
We got, is that GT4s and GT2s? We got a bit of everything here. That's a GT4
yes,
McLaren,
yes.
is it not?
So that GT4 is there because of some incidents. Spenceley's got a drive-through penalty. I believe that's the first of the race.
Has to be someone. Someone's got to be first.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you're not first, you're last.
In drive-throughs.
Yeah, I mean,
I
anything,
so.
really. Yes. Here is Hopkinson currently seeing P13. But looks like this battle in the TCXs is still going nice and strong, and I'm sure we'll be eagerly awaiting some further traffic from the or further involvement, I should say, from the GT2s in short notice.
I'm not sure if they're ever going to be away from it, to be honest with you. There's a bit of a gap in track right now in about cops. Sorry, Maggots and Beckett's. But the classes are very, very spread out. It's going to be nearly constant.
Yeah, basically. Well, we will see where everything ends up, but there is one of the GT2s just coming up onto the back of these drivers. I gotta remember that there is a severe pace difference between the two classes. That is certainly moved to the inside from that Audi, as it looks like Nipris is into the pits, so pit stop here at 39 minutes to go.
Interesting. I think with variable weather, I guess, sorry, you do have the prediction coming up, but it'd make me nervous to pit quite early in case it did start raining.
Even if it does rain, it's not going to rain until right at the end of this race.
And you could probably hold it out.
Well and truly, I'd say. As here is Spinazzi just going through on the GT4 there in camera 2, and it looks like Spenceley is just serving his drive-through penalty now, so he's trundling his way through pit lane, and will be looking to get through on the TCX cars sooner rather than later.
Looks like Sonikas has put a bit of a gap between himself and Sasha Death. I'm not sure quite what happened there.
Yeah, it was just a little bit of a gap, I think. It wasn't a huge gap, but I think it was like a second or two. So yeah. Nipris will come out of the pits. We'll see where he does. It's going to be in a bit of traffic there. So he's going to have to work his way through some of the TCX cars he just lapped not too long ago. But I'm sure that won't concern him too much. So yeah, it's about 1.2 seconds between JP and Sasha Death at the moment. So he's just starting to break clear a little bit, but not by a huge amount at this stage. There's still 38 minutes to go, and these drivers will still need to make one mandatory pit stop.
Yeah, definitely. Can all go wrong in a pit stop. Just ask Jamie Convoy.
Ooh. Oh, yes. JC in pit stops is not the greatest of duos, I will say.
Sorry, had to do it to you, JC. But yeah, no, I think these two have been so close. When I saw that gap, I was like, oh my god, what happened? I don't actually think anything has happened. It's just the flow of the race so far.
Yep, that's it. This is just racing. It just ebbs and flows, and with so many different cars out on track. It's always going to do that. It looks like Archer in the GT4 class is coming to the pits. I believe that is so that'll be Nippers getting back through on these drivers there potentially. And it's not. Nippers is further back than this. There's just more GT2s rolling along.
I don't feel like I've never seen that car before. Where did that come from?
That Page and Death quite a long way clear of the rest of the TCX field. Yeah, okay, fair enough. I've just got to keep that in mind. But then again, there are cars literally everywhere on this track. It's
someone's way off over there on the left. I've lost them. That Maserati was way off the track. You saw the
dust, yeah,
and the skid mark, but it's so far off we couldn't actually see what happened.
Yeah, it can happen. That can happen, as that is the KTM GT2 going up the inside there of Page, and we'll see a few more GT2s roll along. I mean, it's just going to be a constant stream of them, I feel.
Got a stop and go 30 for Archer in the...
That would be speeding in the pit lane.
Happens to the best of us, bud.
Yeah, especially at this pit entry. The pit entry here is brutal. It comes up on you so quick. So there's a few more cars going through. Looks like there's a couple of the GT2s that have come in as well. Out of them, it looks like Nippers is still the lead one out, the pitted GT2s, but there's still plenty more that need to come in. Still probably at the earlier phase of the pit stops.
Yeah, definitely. That pink GT2 Audi kind of getting ahead of themselves, trying to get around Sneakers, going quite deep into Village, but no harm, no foul.
Yeah. I think a lot of the GT2s just want to get past these slower cars as quickly as possible, and they don't really care too much if they compromise their line, because they're probably going to lose less time compromising their line getting through on one of these TCX cars compared to staying behind them for maybe a corner, as we saw earlier with Mia Rose going through Abby.
Does look like a bit of a gap has developed between P1 and P2 GT2.
Yeah, that gap has been growing ever so slightly, and I think Rackmat now is pretty much in the box seat there, barring any sort of errors or collisions or crashes, which can always happen with how frantic things are for these GT2 drivers.
Were you touching wood when you said that? Because
yes, I absolutely was. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, anything can happen with multi-class racing, but yeah, a very, very healthy lead over Rose, but much racing to be had still.
Yeah, still not even at the halfway point of this race. We'll have a quick update on some of the standings. So top 10 here in the GT2s is currently Rackmat, who also has the fastest lap from Rose, Taufik, Spinazze, Bobnow, Murphy, Viney, Ataniake, Rondinella, and Brimblecombe's had a very, very good recovery after falling back into the clutches of the GT4s earlier in this race. He's now up in the P10 in class. Of course, there have been a few pit stops, including Nippers, Yao, and Madden. Nippers is 20.7 seconds clear of Yao, so Nippers well and truly clear in the GT2 fight there, as 95 in the GT4s looks to have gone around. Just looking at those gaps, it looks like Nippers is really been closing on some of these GC2s, or maybe some of the GC2s have just fallen some errors or something. I'm not too sure, but either way, this is Lucas Keys, who's 9.7 seconds clear. That got very close.
That was a toe curler. Oh boy.
Yep. Gonna have plenty of those moments, I feel, but Lucas Keys does get through.
It's Fadley Rackmat right there as well. We've got the leader of GT4s and GT2s like coming up on each other. Quite amusing.
Yeah, well, I think it should be pretty easy for Fudley to get through on Lucas here. I mean, there's definitely no disparity in the cars. It's all down to the driver, clearly.
You said it, not me.
Yep.
But yeah, we're seeing in terms of GT4s, Lucas Keys has, I believe, secured quite a gap to Joshua
10 seconds.
Holmes. Yeah, there it is.
Holmes is sort of in the clutches of the Janetta there, of Johnson there. 1.1 seconds is the gap there, as that is Mia.
Hello, Mia. Where did you come from?
Mia is suddenly closed right. What?
What? I'm befuddled. She was 5 seconds back, was she not? That looks like she's only about 2 or 3 now.
Yeah, like...
Maybe Fadley must have had some trouble getting through that traffic.
Yeah, like...
Yeah, we're back on. Everyone's traffic
1.8 seconds, hello.
Yeah, we're back.
We are so back. Okay, hello. Yeah, honestly, I think at this stage we could probably just ignore whatever is happening on the timing board there. Because it means basically nothing given how much traffic there is. It's all just gonna ebb and flow.
Literally just asked you to cross your fingers about 1 lap ago for this gap, and look, it's literally...
It's 1.2 seconds. Huh?
Mia Rose has activated the rocket boosters. She said, not so fast.
And they're back onto the TCXs. TCX actually saw that quite well. That was fair play from that BMW driver. I thought there was going to be a monumental collision there. Yeah, look at how much I push. Oh, Mia, you don't want to be running that wide too often. There's already been some John is saying that Fadley's having shifter issues, it sounds like. Oh dear.
I think someone mentioned issues with the Maserati. I think that might be something entirely different.
It'll be something entirely different. This sounds like it could be a hardware.
Yeah,
issue.
hardware. Sorry, the Maserati issue I'm referring to was more of like an in-game bug. Something about changing traction would do something weird mid-race. But yes, it does sound, for this significant of a gap closure, it sounds like it might be hardware related.
Oh dear,
all
that
the way
is
around. Little bit of the grass.
That is Jensen there in the number 95. What is the rejoin like? Pretty good, pretty good. But hopefully these issues aren't plaguing Fadley Rackmat too bad. I mean, the last lap, 2:02.3, the best lap, a 1:59.6. Granted, there is certainly a lot of traffic around, but Mia Rose has closed that gap from 5.5 down to less than a second very, very quickly. Alarmingly so.
Yeah, I'd hate to see it go down like that for Fadley with something that's a bit out of his control, but such is life, I guess.
Ooh.
That, again, very big toe curler. Oi, oi, oi.
Yeah. It always gets so close on the exits because there's such a disparity in the acceleration between especially like the TCXs and the GT2s. I would say the GT4s are probably closer to the TCXs than they are the GT2s. I mean, the GT2s just have power for days. That's a dive to the inside. That's also a dive to the inside. Not gonna get it done. So does get held up a bit there. Does Rose just? I mean, the TCX is just driving its own race, which I suppose is fair. Oh, that's another wide.
Mia needs to be careful. She did suffer a drive-through at the end of the last race, pushing her from 2nd to 3rd. Yeah, I'm sure she's lifting off a little bit, I would hope, just to make sure she's not copping those track limit warnings. But yeah, it makes me a little bit nervous. I don't want it to end in tears because of something like that.
Yeah, that would not be a very, very good thing to occur. That would be sure. That's for sure. But either way, this
putting a little bit of distance between them. I don't know if it's because of that wide moment, but hopefully that shifter issue's sorted.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But right now, it hasn't looked too bad for Fadley on this lap, and I guess Mia has sort of been held up a touch, but not too bad overall. And Mia's in. Mia's had enough. She's in the pits with 27 minutes to go, so this is probably about the time you would expect most of the pit stops to occur. And she does pull it up, I believe, in time. Can't see that speed limit board. Someone's taken that out. Oh, dear. Babs jumped into the chat as things probably haven't gone quite as well despite his message. That's unfortunate, but yeah, Taufik is in, so following the driver who was second in this race into the pits is the 711 car, and that is our leader in the GT4s. That is Lucas Keys in the pits. Oh, there's the 50. There's the 50 board.
No wonder why you couldn't see it. Someone's taking it for a little ride.
Oh, it always happens here at Silverstone. Think of it as like the what was it, like the tire bundle. Oh my dear jeebus. Okay, that got a bit tight there between Holmes and that TCX car. I'm not sure who that TCX car was, but that got a little bit close. Anyways, also the triple twos around that is Sherry, who is in a nice position in the GT4s, sitting P5 there, and that has been a long way around. So gonna be maybe a little bit hard us to get something out of this one, unfortunately for Jerry. So yeah.
So we had Mia pit. Fadley did not pit. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. So whereas Fadley's just coming down the Wellington straight now. We'll have to see what happens there. Mia, meanwhile, going through Stowe Corner. So what will Fadley do on this lap? Will he choose to come in or will he stay out? There is a little bit of clear track for him, you know. Honestly, is he gonna... No, he's gonna jump in. So there was a bit of clear track for him that was coming up, because it was all just GT2s. That looked very quick, but he does pull it up in time. He did pull it up in time, thankfully. It looks like it was going straight into the wall. Spinaze also into the pits. Oh, I see what they've done with the rims. Okay, so you got so the BCR donuts have different colored rims. So you have pink on the GT2, what looks like black on the GT4, and then the brown on the TCX. That makes a little bit more sense.
I guess so.
Because I'm guessing the GT2 is sort of like a I don't know, like a strawberry frosted donut or something. I don't know.
It's got like white
donuts.
donuts on the side. I'm not with it. I don't get it. I need to speak to them after the race. I'm not happy about it.
Speak to the manager of BCR Donuts.
I think that's
there we go. Strawberry, chocolate, and pineapple flavored.
Pineapple. What are we doing?
I mean, for a donut, I can see that working. But then again,
I think I've seen a pineapple donut before in like a Woolies like triple pack. So I don't think it's actually that uncommon. But personally, pineapple yuck. That's my big stance tonight.
Yeah, I mean that sort of opinion's probably fitting for OOR. I mean, we don't talk about pineapple too often. Yeah, like the Coles 3-pack. There you go. So
maybe that's the inspiration. But anyway, we have Sneakers, and it looks like Sasha Death still right there, 1.5.
Yeah, you can see Sasha in the background. That's a GT4 BMW getting involved with the Sneakers there, by the way.
Always quite confusing.
Yeah. You can sort of tell by the slightly larger rear wing. So that's the 215 that's gone around through turn 1 as well. Sneakers is in.
Looks like now's the time. About midpoint of the race, getting the most out of your sets of tyres. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Sensible even. It's got to make sure we get that car stopped up before that line. Do not want any unnecessary penalties.
Looks like Mia is right there with Fudley, by the way. Like, there is nothing separating them on track at the moment.
I had to say, Fadley still being ahead makes me think that the shifter issue is hopefully at least workable. But
yes,
Mia, no sympathy for Fadley. We're all or nothing here.
Indeed, and hopefully for Fudley's sake, he can keep him right. Meanwhile, Niparis with that undercut has jumped up into P3 in this. Well, P3 Nets P3, I should say. 2.4 seconds clear of Taufik, and Spinaze is right there with Taufik.
Yeah, wonderful move then. Powerful undercut.
Yeah, it's just whether he can hold on to it with the tyres, because he's been on them for quite a while. He was the first driver to pit from the GT2 class.
I mean, I don't think it'll be too much of an issue. It's not a horrendously long race, but yes, that will be the challenge. But,
There's a lot of long corners around here. It can be very brutal on the tyres, especially when you've got the aerodynamic levels of these GT2s that like to but just be a little bit loose, you would say. Meanwhile, keep an eye on what's going on here between Rahmat and Rose. Still waiting on Bub now to come into the pits in the number 30 car. Through Abbey, now farm curve. Looks like Fudley is managing to hold on, so I think he has gotten the shifter issue pretty much sorted now.
Game on.
I am touching wood, by the way.
Yeah, I want to see proper racing. I don't want to see it. Ooh, bit of a slide again. Mia can't be doing too many of those. They're going to be wasting that precious rubber. But I want to see this race. You know, these two have been at it the whole series, as I've said. I want to see.
Oh, there's the dive, but
yeah.
Manages to get through. It always gets very interesting when you've got a GT2 and GT4 and a TCX all line astern.
Yeah, like really approaching the corner at about the same time. But yeah, I want to see this battle resolved properly. I don't want to see, I don't want to see a sideways car knocking out Fadley, hands, fingers, toes, knees crossed, and I don't want Mia to get a drive through for avoiding someone. I want this to be on pace and strategy.
Yes, absolutely. We want that straight fight right to the end of this race. It would be a shame if either of these drivers were scuppered by anything out of their control.
Yep, Buck now in.
Yeah, Buck now is just rolling out of the pit lane now. It looks like he's going to come out in P6 in this race. That will get updated when he goes through the first sector splits, pretty much.
So that looks like all of our GT2s have come in.
Yes.
Joshua Holmes, current leader. Oh, he is in the pits now as well. I was about to make a comment that he had not come in. Mild commentator's curse.
Oh, and Spenceley has a stop-go 30. That is not ideal. As Death has come out behind Peach. Yes, there we go. I was just keeping an eye on that one. Peach is... Oh, no. That was maybe a little bit opportunistic from that GT2. Because you may have a massive speed advantage, but you still have to not be a menace.
Yes, the M2s have a right to the road. You can't just fall through them. It's really unfortunate for sneakers.
Yep, and John, don't worry, we were watching that at the time, so that has been caught in 4K 144 frames per second, probably. And I would say not ideal. As there's another M2 that's been absolutely shafted there by the looks of it. It's the Red Bull livery car there. That would be
I guess this is as good as mine. Someone's had a bit of a rally.
Oh no, that'll be the 604, I think, of Fost down there in P40. So a little ways off, I think. I'm just guessing at this rate.
There is a second Josh J. Foster. I'm being told that was correct, but there's a second J. Foster in an Aston in GT4 as well. Mild confusion.
Yeah. Always love a bit of mild confusion. But
I mean, it's not multi-class racing without a bit of mild confusion, is it?
Oh, there's always confusion in multi-class racing. That's why we love it.
Looks like, I mean, obviously Sneakers might be very happy, but he's not too far back from Sasha's death. He's still got 17 minutes to go. Yeah,
still plenty of time, and as we've seen, anything can happen to these poor little M2s. So we'll have to wait and see on that one, I think.
Yeah, you had the feel for them. It must be, you just would have to be watching your mirrors like the whole time.
Yeah,
I mean,
always.
it is on the faster car.
Oh, hold on. Mia Rose has had an issue. She's fallen all the way back. Oh dear.
Oh
And that's
my.
it. There's 812 that's gone around. What class of car is that? We'll have a look at a bit of a cheeky replay now. So there was. We'll come back to a replay, but did see Mia Rose did end up going around, and not too sure what's happened there, but either way, that's given Thudley a huge sigh of relief. Well, it's a big incident in this race. Meanwhile, it looks like Taufeeq's gotten ahead there of Nipris, and Nipris not quite with the pace at the moment, probably on those older tyres. So Taufeeq up into the podium position. But yeah, that is a huge in the context of this race and in the context of this championship. You would say that the PG Toe Jam Racing team are favourites, as we do now get a bit of a replay, and this is Mia up the inside. Oh, that's clumsy.
Yeah. That was hopeful, I think, from Mia.
Yep. Just because you're in the faster car doesn't mean the slower car can just magically disappear.
The car is still there.
Yep. So unfortunately, that is self-imposed by Mia Rose.
Yep. As I said, the way the cookie crumbles.
Yep. As we'll keep an eye on this gap between Death and Sneakers. It is currently 2.4 seconds, and they are now on the same bit of road for the time being.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be just them two for a little while until these GT4s catch them.
Well, I think the 72 in the GT2 will catch up to them before. Oh, wait, you've got the 44 as well. That's just catching up to them, I think. Oh no, that is in the GT. The color. Oh yeah, because we're on board. It's the same color. Bruh.
Yeah.
Stupid. How dumb is that?
Yeah. Look, you've been calling out some stuff really, really well just from that mini map. You've got me lost, so I'm happy to get one back over you.
I was just looking. I felt like it was like, hang on, no, that's Page's number.
Yeah.
So yes, no, the 72 will catch up to them first, but yes, no. Thanks ACC for having very similar colors.
I mean, the selection color should just be something entirely different. I don't know why it would be. I guess, sorry, the GT2 looks like more of a maroon, whereas the selected one is actually a bright red, but
yeah,
that's asking a lot.
The difference isn't noticeable enough, unfortunately. I think here we go. Here is Nipris and Spinaze. That is Spinaze, sorry. I was just trying to keep in mind that Nipris has managed to stay ahead for now, but is under a huge amount of pressure. I think those tyres on the KTM starting to look a little bit worse for wear, and you'd think that Maserati would be able to just fly past on the straight up the inside and up in the P4. Yeah, so this is a result of Taufeeq managing to get through earlier, as was mentioned, up into P3 in this race, and there you go. Spinaze now up into P4, and will look to try and attack Taufeeq to the end of this race with 13 minutes to go to potentially take a podium position for BCR Donuts.
I mean, I don't know if I'd be looking forward just yet. Spinaze doesn't look like he wants to let that go just yet.
Looking now with Holmes and Johnson. Look, Johnson actually got through on Holmes, most likely in the stop, so the Janetta in a nice little position. You don't often see Janettas, I mean, probably for good reason, but anyways, carry on from those opinions on cars. It looks like Holmes is got a lot of speed, but just has it at the wrong spots right now, but gets a nice exit out of Chapel, and will now be getting through on Page here down towards Stowe Corner. Holmes will take the inside. What's going to happen here? Does dive it and get through. What's the exit going to be like for Holmes? It looks like he's got the superior tyre wear at the moment, so is in a position where he can look to make a move. What does Johnson have to defend? Right now he's doing all he needs to with 12 minutes to go, but there is still 12 minutes to go in this race, so anything can happen.
Josh Holmes is a very, very talented driver. I would expect him to not let this go. Going to be biting down like a dog. Also, just Sneakers and Holmes are also teammates, so I'm glad to see that they passed each other nice and cleanly there through Stowe.
Indeed, and now it'll be interesting. Here we got Sasha Death, and it looks like Johnson wanted to get the move done into Village, but couldn't do it there. Does it up the inside of the loop and gets loose. And no, I don't think there was a tap there. I think it was just loose from the GT4s. That's very, very tight. They're going to get through on Sasha. Now here comes one of the GT2s through. Somehow Johnson does manage to stay ahead of Holmes for now, but that is deep on the brakes from the Ginetta. Manages to pull it up in time to not go off the track. So stays ahead of Holmes somehow, despite that loose moment out of the loop.
I am curling my tails at every corner we watch. Oi, oi, oi. I think that GT2 maybe broke a little bit early. The corner looked pretty okay from the Ginetta, but making it look, a little bit dicier than maybe it should have.
I mean, it looks like the Audi actually, or what? No, it was the Maserati.
The Maserati.
Yeah, the Maserati went very, very deep there, so I'm not too sure. I mean, it does look like the GT4s do have some very, very good cornering speed when you're comparing with the GT2s, but the GT2s just have too much power. And look at the run that Josh Holmes has. Oh, but he's gone off the road, so he can't use it. He will not be allowed to make that move now into Stowe Corner, and he has to back in behind Johnson again. So Johnson is doing everything he can right now. Holmes gets the run. He's going to try and go around the outside, but he's going to run out of track, you would think. Johnson does basically run him out of the road, but he has every right to do that. And will Holmes go for a dive into the Vale chicane? No, he does not. So for now, it is still the Ginetta ahead of the Porsche.
Got a Rogue, I think. That must be Jay Foster, the number 5 Aston, I would say. So a bit of a back marker here of their own class, which might be actually make it quite interesting.
That is, the number 5 Aston there. So what does Foster do? He does let them go pretty easy, although he's going to keep the nose stuck there. No. So does let them go, so not too much damage done for either of these drivers there.
Yeah, I think it's good. It's a good choice. It's not his race. There's no need to make it ugly for anybody.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, looks like probably Rackmat's going to come up to some lapped GT2s in a minute, starting with the 560 Audi of Hopkinson. So I think that just sort of shows the pace that Fadley's had in this race. It's been excellent, and despite that shifter issue halfway through, it's managed to hold off the pressure from Mia Rose, and ultimately it was Rose who made the error and took all the pressure off of Fadley in the end. There was Fadley actually getting through on Page.
A couple of the GT4s around the club maybe having a slight off. Looks like maybe not too much of an issue though. So
we'll carry on. There's Fadley getting through on the TCX class leader there of Sasha Death, as Madden in the 334 picks up a drive-through penalty for track limits. That is unfortunate. Gets through some more of the lapped traffic there, does Fadley, and now the other GT2 is basically right there on track, as we've got a bit of a fight here with Brimblecombe and Madden. Madden will need to come into the pits, but Brimblecombe's going to get a beautiful exit, and he's up in the P10.
I mean, yeah, not sure if Madden really had to fight that anymore. He's going to be coming in, but nice move from Brimblecombe.
Yeah, as here is Yao and that's Viney. Yes, Yao and Viney. Sorry, I was just trying to work out which car the camera is focused on. So yes, that is Yao and Viney with Murphy not too far behind in the 811. So could be a little bit of silly shenanigans going on here with the silly racing car in the 992. The 118 as well. Assume that'll be the Kovacs. Down the straight they go, and there's not going to be too much the KTMs can do on each other. That's just going to allow Murphy to catch up in that Maserati. The KTMs are the front two cars here.
Yeah, so we got Viney in the Kovacs racing team.
Yep.
So they're currently situated in third.
So Madden has presumably come in to serve his drive-through, and he sped in the pit lane and picked up a stop-go 30.
That is rough.
Brutal.
Absolutely heartbreaking. It's rock bottom.
Yeah. It can't really get a whole lot worse than that, to be honest.
I guess if you do it again, you get disqualified. Anyway, let's not. Let's not
linger on that thought for too long. No. Meanwhile, Josh Holmes.
Thoughts and prayers.
Holmes is still behind Johnson here. Looks like Johnson got a little bit held up by the TCX car there, and now Holmes has a nice run going down that hangar straight. What can the Janetta do to hold on? It's going to hold the inside line is Johnson, force Josh Holmes to the outside where there is another TCX car, so he can't make the move. But, oh, that's very deep from Johnson, and that is the defense of P2 in class over and done with. Holmes back in the P2 in class.
That was almost magical for Holmes, and it just all opened up for him. We were just saying...
The seas parted.
Yeah, TCX on the outside, and he's like, oh, the TCX moved a little bit for him. Like, okay, it's on. And then Johnson goes a little bit wide, and Holmes says, alright, thank you very much, I'll take your lunch money. See you later. Absolutely beautifully done.
Yeah, indeed. It was a good defense from Johnson for a very, very long time, but unfortunately just a little bit deep on the brakes on that occasion, and that defense is done. But he's not going to let it go. He's going to try and hold on to Holmes as much as he possibly can. But I think Holmes has the better tyre wear and overall the slightly better pace at this stage of the race compared to Johnson. But Johnson's still there in P3, should still be fairly happy with that.
Yeah, I think that move was probably coming some point or another. Holmes has just been really, really on it. Yeah, I wonder if maybe Johnson was just looking in his mirrors a bit too much or something for that one. But yeah, very commendable effort.
He was also very tight to the inside, so may have not accounted for that in his braking. Oh, that is a little bit of contact there with the TCX, I think, between Viney and that TCX, but Viney does manage to get through, and he's putting a lot of pressure on Yao, who is still ahead for the moment, and Murphy hasn't been able to close in. He's still about 2 seconds back. There's TCX cars going every which way in the background, but we will carry on with Yao, and he's gotten a bit of an advantage out of the loop. So we've got 4 minutes to go. That'll be about, where is Rackmat? So that'll be about 2 more laps for these, 2 more laps for these drivers. Oh, 3 more laps, something like that.
There'll be a number of laps for these drivers.
Yes.
If you're not specific, you can't be wrong. There'll be at least a lap.
Yeah, what 1 to 10 laps is probably a good estimate, although it would be very impressive if Rackmat was able to get around 10 laps in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Is interesting choice of line there for Yao. I mean, yeah, sure, getting through on the GT4, but you don't really want to be picking up track limit warnings this late in the race, because you've probably got a few stored up and drive-throughs, you know, the usual affair. Johnson has not let Holmes go, and well, oh dear, that was a bit loose through Abby. Never mind.
Hey, there's still a number of laps to go. It's not over. I don't think Johnson will let this go, but I think this might be Holmes' position to lose, really.
Yeah, it's definitely Holmes' position to lose. He's just got to keep it clean, consistent. He realistically should stay ahead, but we've seen a lot of stuff happen in this race. There's still 2
have.
minutes and 43 seconds to go. I'm sure there's more that can happen. I mean, the 215 has just gone around at the Vale chicane, but has managed to keep things going. That's in the TCX class there. Most likely just getting out of the way of a few other cars.
What's our situation with Sonikas and Death? Has that gap closed?
Just having a look on the map. There is Death, and yeah, look, Page has closed right up. It is probably Death's position to lose, but we've seen the pace of Page. He's been a little bit better than what Sash has been throughout this race. So, what? We'll keep an eye on this one. They'll still have a little bit of time to go to make this a bit of a fight, and they'll probably have to keep in mind there's other cars they'll be wanting to get through on them behind them. So, yeah, this could get quite entertaining. See how much Death is trying to push through Maggots and Beckett's. The BMW not really responding as much as they'd hope, and does get a little bit on the dirt, so that's going to compromise the line a little bit. You got a GT4, I think that's a Chevy that's just coming up on them now, so we'll be gets through on Page nice and easily. What's it going to be like on Sasha? Does try to dive to the inside but can't do it. Sasha does react a little bit, so that's a little bit of time lost, but now on the exit here you'd think through the Vale chicane it should be nice and easy for the GT4, and does get through, but that's brought PG even closer, especially with that GT4 just running a little bit wide. That's going to hold up Sasha Death and really make things difficult as the GT4 does run up the road to try not to impede on this battle too much. And now there's the GT2 coming up. What's it going to do?
No rest for the weary in these two. Oi, oi, oi.
No, it's all happening now, and that Audi is going to be diving to the inside of Sasha now. I believe that is the driver we saw earlier with the drive-through and the stop-go. But look at how close it is now. By the way, we are on the final lap of this race, at least for Fudley. Look at the run here from Page, but they got a GT2 coming up. They're going to be side by side, and the GT2 is going to run off the road to get through. That is an interesting way of getting through. And here comes Winey up the inside. Here comes Page on Sasha Death up the inside of Brooklyn's corner. Can Sasha hold around the outside, or will JP get the inside? They're so close to contact. Somehow Death manages to hold on around the outside. Now they'll have one more lap to fight it out, and they've got a bunch of the GT2s behind them. This is going to be some ending here in the TCXs. Oh my lord. Page with the slipstream heading down towards Cops, and here comes GT2 on the inside. That doesn't go for the move, thankfully, but will now get the exit and will get through. And I think Page has sort of backed out of it a little bit to try and let these drivers go through. Now Sasha has to deal with
a little bit spooked there. Lost a bit of time kind of letting them through. There's almost like a fake out from that GT2. It's not really what you want.
Yeah, but now we've got some of the GT4s that will be wanting to get through on Sasha down the straight, and will be diving to the inside into Stowe corner. But I think Sasha's going to let them go, because they've got a bit of an advantage now over Page. Will be trying to gain as much time as possible through the final part of the lap. But Fudley Rackmat is coming up to the line now, and Fudley Rackmat wins the GT2 class and overall here at Silverstone for round 3 of the Trio Series. A great race from him. And, well, it'll be Mia Rose there coming home in second. Not quite the race she would have hoped for. And Taufik will come home in third. And I believe PG Toe Jam Racing will take the title here in the Trio Series with the P3, a P2, and a P2 at this stage. You would say that would be enough for them to get it over Milk Racing Team and Kovacs.
Yeah, really great result as a team for them. Can't ask for too much more than that.
They've just been consistent. I don't think they've gotten a win in class so far this season. It's just been consistent racing from them.
But it looks like it'll be Lucas Keys would be first for the GT4.
Yes. Yep, so yeah, it will be Lucas Keys winning out from Josh Holmes and Johnson in the GT4s, and we're watching on with the TCXs. It does look like it's going to be Sasha getting one over John Pierre Sanikas right at the end here. And then it'll be probably Aiden's guys, but Chalmers is right there. So it could get very, very tight, but Sasha will take the win in the TCX class from JP. Very unfortunate for Peach. They're 35 seconds clear of Squires, by the way.
Just 35. Nothing too
Yeah,
much.
just 35. It's no biggie. But we'll keep an eye on the gaps between Squires and Chalmers. I think Squires is ahead at the moment. They just trying to see where they're heading through. They'd be coming through the final few corners now. Here we are. Looks like, yes, it will be Squires just ahead of Chalmers in the end. So Squires takes P3 in the TCX class for a power sim sport.
Danika's just got a bit of an unlucky run, I'd say, through this series. Race 1 was one absolutely to forget, and then race 2, I believe, is a better result off the top of my head. But I feel like I've seen a few different incidents with Sanikas that have just not been his fault whatsoever. So my hat's off to him, keeping it real, keeping it in there.
Yeah, that's it. In the TCX class, you're always going to expect some form of instance, especially with the drivers around. Oh, it has actually rained here in Britain. That's great. I'll have a look at the GT4 standings first. We'll need to jump across to the race standings first. So in the GT4 class, or overall, we should... yeah, there you go. So... yeah, we'll go overall first. So Rakhmat won out from Rose, Taufik, Spinaze, Niparis, Bubnow, Yao, Viney, Murphy, and Brimblecombe, your top 10 in the GT2s. Then in the GT4s, we move to Keys, winning out from Holmes, Johnson, Herbert, Darth, the top 5 there. Then in the CCX class, it was a great battle between Death and Sneakers, well clear of Squires, Chalmers, and circling the end. Great comeback from Babby, if you don't mind. Pit lane to P6 in class, that is a great effort.
It's that George Russell effort I was talking about. I predicted it.
Yeah, exactly. I think you predicted exactly, because I'm pretty sure George Russell actually finished P6 over the weekend.
He did. He did.
So,
wow.
Yeah, so very well done on the prediction there from you. Do you have a driver of the day from that one, Blake?
I mean, can I do 3?
Yep, if you want to do 3, that's fine.
Well, there's 3 classes. Give me 3 drivers. I think
makes sense.
Obviously, Fadley has to get a shout out. Fantastic drive. I think Fadley started in P2. Big battles all the way throughout. Shifter issue. And then, yeah, persevered through all of that to take the overall win. Like, really well done. I mean, it's hard not to say Lucas Keys as well. Like, it's probably a boring answer, but like, what was he? About 20 seconds ahead of the rest of his class? That's nuts. That's crazy. And like, Josh Holmes is nothing to sneeze at, you know? And same with Johnson. Yeah, and I think, was it Babby or Bab? I don't remember. My George Russell pick. That's a really huge jump up. So I think Bab gets my 3rd vote for driver.
That'll be Babby, yeah. So very well done there. For me, GT2 class got to go to Brimblecombe with the fight back there after dropping into the clutches of the GT4 field, managing to recover up into P10. So a solid result at the end of the day, even if things didn't quite go his way. In the GT4s, I'd say Johnson, he really gave Holmes a run for his money right through this race, and Holmes was on pole position as well for that GT4 class, so did very well, did Johnson in the Ginetta. And I've got to agree with you for the TCX pick. That was a great fight back from Babby after starting from pit lane and moving up into P6 in class, so very well done. But that will do it here at the for the Octane Online Racing Simrigs Trio Series. It has been great running this series in the interval off of the Sprint Series, but the Sprint Series will be back, I believe, next week, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, so in a week's time, we'll be back with the Octane Online Racing Simrigs Sprint Series, and that will be very, very exciting indeed to head into the end of 2024, of course, we've got the big Nord. Yes, and we'll still got some registrations open for that one. So if you're interested in giving the series a go for the first time or returning to the series, be sure to register for that one. We still got openings there, so keep an eye on that. Of course, later on in November, we've got the Nordschleife 24-hour happening as well. So be sure to keep your eyes on the Discord for all information on that one. But that will do us for tonight. Thank you for joining me, Blake, in the commentary box. It's been great having you.
Of course, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And thank you to everyone for tuning in tonight. We will be back next week in the world of ACC for the return of the Octane Online Racing Simrigs Sprint Series. But for the Trio Series, that is that. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Ciao.